Welcome back, everybody. Kind of a dreary May day here, but May snuck up on us and we're still working to reclaim this little pasture area, we're calling it, down by the brook. Beautiful area, special to us. We've got a stone wall here we can see now, but today we're highlighting what this little PTO stump grinder can do on our compact tractor and what it might be able to do on your tractor. So stay tuned and I'll walk you through that. So most of you that follow the channel have seen our stump grinder before. This is the Woodland Mills WG24 stump grinder. It's just a real simple design. It's a 24-inch flywheel with a bunch of carbide teeth bolted onto it. It does a fantastic job of grinding stumps. This is our Kubota L2501 four-wheel drive, which is going to be important today. We've got some uneven slopes and it's pretty darn muddy down here. But I'll walk you through how this thing works after I show you kind of the project we've got going on. The brook is especially swollen right now. We got about an inch of rain just yesterday afternoon. But anyways, you can kind of see the spot we're working. You see I got chips. I spared you the expense of, you saw me in some previous videos just chipping some of the brush that was down here. And only a few bigger trees. It wasn't too long ago that this was pastured, but really 120 years ago, before electricity made it to this area, this area was filled with sheep. These stone walls in New England, that's primarily why they were created, to keep sheep in. Not tall enough to keep cows in or anything like that, but they kept sheep in well. And you can find remnants of more modern barbed wire through here and where there's gaps in the stone walls. But yeah, this is what we're working with. Not too many big trees were in here, but you did see me pittering around, cutting some of the smaller stuff, chipping it up. Yeah, and then some really older, some rotten stumps. That'll be a piece of cake to take care of. But real quick, I'll show you the tools we brought down to tackle a small little project like this. Completely different point of view from a couple feet higher on the tractor seat. So I like to go ahead, even though it's just me, mark out the stumps beforehand while I'm poking around here. This is the biggest stump we're dealing with. This is a, I don't know, 20-inch maple with the bottom rotted out. So that one will be a no-brainer. But a lot of them are kind of hidden. So if I bring it down to ground level, this is an old rotten one that I can't push over with the tractor bucket, but I'll scrape it real quick with the grinder and level it out. Same with this one. And this one. One probably doesn't need paint, but there you go. Little yellow birch. That was a hemlock. Birch. And then these little ones, so this is a 1-2 inch sapling, but I can't push these over with the tractor bucket. The root system's so deep that they're in there. So the grinder will make quick work of these. You'll notice these yellow birch have some kind of weird purple fungus, I think it is, growing on them. Or maybe that's just the sap. And the grinder works fantastic on things like these. This was a little clump of saplings. You can see still root system's too big for the tractor bucket to just push over, or could dig it out if I wanted to dig a big enough hole, but that grinder is easier. And here's one I had ground before, but I had just gotten it below the surface and erosion and whatnot. It's not below the surface anymore. So we'll hit these ones again while watching out for that rock. This is the ideal time in central New Hampshire to put some grass seed down. Everything's lining up perfectly. But I'm not trying to turn this into a lawn or anything, but the whole goal here is to turn it from a wooded shrubby area, which I don't know if I have pictures of before, but this was all overgrown, and turn it into something I can quickly brush hog, not have to worry about hitting stumps, not have to worry about hitting rocks. And from 100 feet away, looks like a nice pasture area. That's the goal. And I forgot to mention the tools I bring down here. So I'll always bring a steel rake for the most part. And that's just to investigate around the stumps. So any small rocks, there's rocks everywhere, especially here. Any smaller rocks, maybe softball size and under, they'll just get thrown out of the way, not too much damage done. But if you were to hit ledge or big boulders that won't move out of the way, you're gonna dull your teeth on the grinder pretty quick. So you try to avoid that. Here, most of them are exposed, but you might want to bring a digging bar to unlodge some of the bigger rocks as you go. Because like I pointed out, I had scraped some of these below the surface before, but just erosion, they're exposed again. So ideally, you want to get a little depth to your grind. It's easier just to scratch the surface, but if you go a little deeper, they should never rear their ugly heads again. And then I usually will bring a tape measure just for mostly clout purposes. Tell my friends, oh yeah, I ground 40 stumps this weekend. I'm like, wow, 40 stumps? And then I explain, yeah, they were 3-inch diameter. It's not that impressive, but this little loader arm, great place to hang a tape measure. And then speaking of depth, so this guard here, it's about, I don't know, so the gist of it is if I don't dig a hole, I really only have from here to here that this thing's gonna grind. But the way this works is you can pretty easily dig a pretty big hole, and as low as you can drop your 3-point is, and as low as you back your tractor into a hole is as low as you can grind. So it really is super versatile in that manner. But without disturbing too much ground, you're gonna go down whatever that is, 10 inches, 8 inches or so. And for what we're doing, the brush hog will take care of the rest of that. So you probably saw what I was doing there, but explain it real quick, the directions recommend. For say, what you're supposed to do is start pulling on, because of the way that turns clockwise. So you want to start pulling on the right side of the stump and work your way that way. And that seems to work out pretty good, and you'll find yourself binding it up and struggle if you just start attacking them from the middle or from the driver's side. So yeah. The brush hog will take care of all these little twigs and root systems and whatnot that I missed. So not too worried about that. But I wanted to mention, even if you are one of the most limber people in the world, after a few hours of running this thing, there's no good way to do it while keeping an eye on the cutter without turning around. So even though this is super rewarding and I could do it all day, I think I'll feel it the next day if I were to do it more than 4 hours at a time. Only I don't know, 20 minutes in so far, and realized I should have stretched first. And this one stump that was sticking up a foot or so, Been bugging me for probably a year now. Still had to have gotten it taken care of. Oh, missed the spot. In the home stretch here, just a couple left, but these two are going to be a struggle. Get some rocks. Big rock. Oh, it moves. It'll move. So yeah, got earplugs in, but you can definitely hear the difference between hitting a stump or gravel or rocks. So that's why I keep my hand on the steering wheel, hand on the 3-point lever, and when I hear hitting a rock that's not moving, the little ones you can hear ting, 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 just get out of the way. But these bigger ones, you're gonna want to stop and reevaluate. Not that big. Yeah. Alright, I'll put you guys on a time lapse and let you know how long this 20-inch maple that I cut down 2 weeks ago now takes me to grind down flat, get this area flattened out real good. These teeth are pretty darn dull now. I've had this for 3 or 4 years and I haven't replaced any of the teeth. They're not in terrible shape, but I can definitely notice that it doesn't cut as smoothly as it used to. And another thing I'll mention here is that, so this thing is designed for tractors with a hydrostatic transmission. I'm just feathering the throttle. If you really burn out your clutch and struggle to do what you need to do if you're trying to do this with a gear drive tractor. So HST, I have read that people do them with gear drives. Can't imagine how frustrating that must be. But with the duller teeth I mentioned, this thing does pivot if you hadn't seen that in the footage yet. So I don't know if I can do it by hand. Oh yeah, so there's 2 hinges up top here that I just greased. And if you get going too fast through a stump, and this is pretty heavy, the grinder will hinge back and the weight of it will slowly carry you through the stump instead of stalling out the tractor or something along those lines. Ants. Just grinding for 6 minutes there and we got it flush-ish, and I knew it was going a little slow and I caught a glimpse of something gray, and sure enough, you saw this stump. It had the middle was rotten out. In the middle is a rock, a good size rock. So I'm gonna change plans here, and I'm not gonna grind this one too far below the surface. I'm gonna work to get some topsoil and fill this up a little bit so I don't have to worry about grinding the rock. So these teeth, let's take a look. Anything to write home about yet? Well, they still look to have some sharp edges on them. See, that one's missing. Ooh, sorry. See, that one's missing its corner. It's got some stump stuck in it, but yeah, interesting. So color me impressed. Each time I break this thing out, I just thankful we pulled the trigger on it. I just looked it up today. That implement is $2,400, and if you've got a property and you've got trees and a tractor, it might make a lot of fiscal sense for you, as opposed to renting a grinder or paying somebody to do this stuff for you. That's just my 2 cents. Spent about 40 minutes total with the stump grinding and raking. We've got a much flatter area to work with down here, play around, ride bikes, whatever we want to do. And after that 40 minutes, I flattened out a spot right there. You saw there was quite the shelf there for one reason or another, but much more manageable now. Didn't hit any stumps. Moved a couple rocks out of the way, but no more stumps. And yeah, very happy. We've got a couple more humps and bumps down here in the lower area, but it's still pretty wet down there. So I'm going to let things dry out, and we'll tackle that on a drier day. But soon, the next couple days, I'll get some seed down. I don't have enough right now. Get some seed down and let nature take its course. But yeah, in the meantime, if this is one of your first times tuning in, my name's Mitch. I like to take the camera around as I tackle these chores. I really appreciate you guys following along. So if you got any interest in this outdoorsy type living, please consider subscribing, liking this video. It means a lot to me. And yeah, see you all in the next one. Take care.